Yeah.
Competitor number 106, Alana Britton, just falling as she gets across the finish line. And here is that push, Steve. What an incredible effort by Shaylin.
Absolutely. Shaylin really showing some great double pulling there to hold off our top qualifier, Shiloh Russo, for that 7th place position.
Okay, we've been waiting for this moment, and here it is. It is the A final for the women, the junior women. This is the 1 kilometer sprint classic, including Granstrom, May, Racine, Halverson, Stewart, and Annika Ackerman that you've been talking about all morning.
Yeah, she's got some great double pulls finishes here. And Beth Granstrom, our classic distance champion from Tuesday, she's been looking fantastic today. I'm going to put her as the favorite, but anything again can happen in a sprint. And we'll see how this one shakes out. I think we're just about 10 seconds away as they pull up to the start gates here.
And one of the things you got to be really careful is if you have a false start, you only get 1 chance, correct?
That's correct. That's correct. But it's a clean start here. And again, we're watching for this first corner. Who gets that early position? It looks like Rachel May getting some great starts here, but it's going to be,
Racine on the inside.
Yeah, Alexandra Racine getting that early spot. Beth Granstrom pulling in behind her. Then we've got 113, Tova Halverson. And then we've got 118, Rachel May.
And look at the conditions. We are being blasted by a dose of Mother Nature. Winter has returned to the Canmore Nordic Center. These ladies have now something else to contend with.
Now, I think Tova Halverson, if I remember correctly, her dad is a top marathon runner, and actually, I believe, organizes the Ottawa Marathon. So some good genes with Tova, and that's a Norwegian sounding name, Tova Halverson. But that's Beth Granstrom right now.
Saw a little slip there.
Nordic.
Yeah, saw a couple of slips there. The wax may not be as effective as she wants it to be. We're going to see if Beth Granstrom can actually hold on to that stride she has.
Yeah, and this is on this course, it's a real important balance between the grip. You do have a couple steep climbs, but you also have that long descent and double pulling at the end. And with the snow now starting to come down, some of the coaches may have even made a quick call right before the start of the race and given them a little bit less grabby wax to try and just find the right combination here. But I think it's still anyone's battle here for our A final here for our national championship. These are all Canadians, so the first one across the line will be the national champion. There's 3 coming right through that corner.
Through the snow, Beth Granstrom still in the lead, but it's going to be a tight one.
Now, Rachel May, I'm not sure what happened there. She just was kind of adjusting her pull, and there.
Oh, and a bit of a slip to the outside, but maintaining her balance. She gets back into position behind the leader.
Yeah, so
wow.
she wanted, it looks like she wanted an extra lane to pass, but as soon as she slowed down, she wanted to get back into the slipstream. But now it looks like Alexandra Racine making a dash here. But there's 5 athletes, 6 athletes in the battle here for medals here at the national championship. Oh my goodness.
Racine, she is double pulling. She knows how close this is going to be. She wants that title of champion. She is in the lead. She's pushing as hard as she can on her tail, but no, it looks like Alexandra Racine sees the finish line. You have a new Canadian junior champion, and there she is. This is Alexandra Racine as she comes across the line. The final push. Does she have enough to hold on to the contenders? And the answer is yes. What a race for that young lady.
Oh my goodness. And it looked like Tova Halverson may have got the silver medal. Look at that sprint at the end.
What a finish at the end, Steve. Look at this.
Beth Granstrom on the outside trying to hold on to a medal position here. But look at that power. Oh my goodness. So that was 111 Alexandra Racine, and then 113 Tova Halverson, and then Beth Granstrom.
Yep.
Oh,
look at that. You want to know if these ladies are putting in an effort? They certainly are, enjoying the beautiful snow that has just anointed a new winner. Congratulations again to these ladies, and what an effort. As again, the conditions continue to change here at the Canmore Nordic Center, but that's the beauty of this sport. anything can happen, and we've seen anything happen, Steve.
Well, I think the story, I mean, there's been some absolutely fantastic racing today, but I think one of the biggest stories today, Nicole Gammy just making it into the heats, getting into the top 30. I think the difference was a few tenths of a second. That got her into the top 30. That got her into the heats, and she took that opportunity to the fullest and becoming a national champion with a lunge at the line. Oh my goodness.
Well, the opportunity is all hers, and Steve, I'm going to send you on your way so you can find one of those wonderful athletes here at the Canmore Nordic Center and bring us to our broadcast location, because it has been an incredible run. And hopefully, Steve, you ask her, how did she find that energy at the end to do what she did? That was pretty cool stuff here. As we were just wrapping up with the finals for the junior women category, ages 16 to 17-year-old. And as you saw a few moments ago, what a final we've had here. Again, we talk about the efforts that these ladies have put in over the years, over the months, over the last few weeks to get acclimatized to this beautiful course, because in the end, they all want that championship. They all want to have that title. At the Canmore Nordic Center, a great facility. Again, this place lauded in history. The site of the Olympics, the site of World Cup competitions, and of course the site of today's competition. The Nordic finals here have been absolutely amazing. The Canadian Cross Country Ski Nationals. Now this was a sprint. This was a little faster, as you can tell by some of the times here, of about 2:20. That was what we're looking at most of the times. And some of these ladies, they pushed it. You know, we talked about the quarterfinals where they had to push it. We talked about the semifinals that they had to push it. But to get that extra burst of energy right near the end, to have them at the end do what they do, and to be able to see it here was absolutely brilliant. We hope you've enjoyed our live coverage. We are standing by with Steve in just a few moments here. He's going to find the winner of the junior finals in just a few moments. As you can appreciate, pictures are being taken. Other interviews are being taken as well, too, are being had. But, boy, so many hugs and exhilaration by a lot of these athletes. And think about this. These are our future Olympians. A lot of these young ladies have aspirations, and they have their mentors. They have those that they've seen and they've looked up to. And now here's an opportunity to be on the big stage. And let's be real, when you look at a stage like the Canmore Nordic Center, what better place than right here to be a part of this? It has been a spectacular day. And again, stand by, because we also have the juvenile boys and the juvenile men. We're going to have them coming out very shortly as well, too, and we appreciate you standing by. And we're going to find the winner of the junior girls in just a few moments. Steve and our cameraman are just standing by, so we're going to have that for you. So stand by here as you take another look at this beautiful facility. The crowds have come out. This is a sport that a lot of people have talked about here in Alberta and across Canada. Cross-country skiing is alive and well, as you can tell by a number of these athletes and a number of the spectators who want to be a part of this sport. These are household names. The names that you heard today are going to be the names in the future. There are future Olympians out here. Who will they be and where will they be? We don't quite know, and that's the beauty of this sport. And with one of those ladies, my co-host Steve is with her right now. Go ahead, Steve.
Okay, I'm here with our champion in the junior girls, Alexandra Sin. How does it feel to be a national champion?
It feels so good. It's amazing. I thought I was going to be like 4th or 6th or something like that. I really didn't thought about the first place. I just thought about having fun, and I got first.
And now you kind of came from behind a little bit on that finishing stretch. Where did you find that energy and that beautiful double pole technique to take the victory?
I have no idea. It's just, I really, I was in the game and I saw that the 3 girls are in front. We had a little gap in front of the others. So I was like, I'm top 3, so I might as well give it a shot for first place.
Now, do you have anything to say to your team and your coach, Gilles, who I actually talked before the championships, and he had a lot of hope in you? Anything to say to your team and your friends back home?
Well, I'm super happy, and you know the team support is amazing. We have parents, we have coaches, we have like everybody is here to help us, and the skis were amazing, like all nationals and especially today. So I'm really happy. My coach is doing a great job. He's like the best coach I could ask for.
So congratulations, Alexandra, on a fantastic race. Yes, again, congratulations, a fantastic finish.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll go back to Phoenix.
Great stuff, Steve, and congratulations to Alexandra Racine. That was an amazing effort by these young ladies. And again, stand by, because we also have the men who are going to be competing, the juvenile 14 and 15-year-olds and the juniors 16 and 17-year-old. You want to talk about a spectator sport? This is exactly what it is. So much energy here. You've got the music playing. You've got a number of parents and just guests and club members who are just excited about this. And why not? Look at this spectacular view. If you haven't been to the Canmore Nordic Center, this is a place of opportunity that you might want to just visit sometime. And the great thing about this facility is that they actually open up this facility so that you can enjoy it as well too. A recreation or a leisure activity, just to go ahead, come on out here. I've talked to so many people here, volunteers, people who live in the Canmore area, in the Banff area, the Calgary area, who have come to this facility and enjoyed it as well too. So if you have an opportunity to come out this way, or if you've been thinking about it, boy, there's nothing more picture perfect than something like this, being out here in the Rocky Mountains. And again, as we talked about the changing weather conditions over the last few minutes, yes, we had some sunshine. Then as the finals were happening, we had some snow. And now what has happened? The return of Mother Nature and some sunshine, just giving us a bit of a kiss to say, you know what? This is a place you definitely want to be. And if you've ever been to the Canmore area, you realize just how wonderful it is. Well, what's so wonderful, too, is that we have another winner standing by with Steve. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Phoenix. I'm here with Nicole Gammy from the Foothills Nordic Club. Qualified 30th place, just made it into the heats, and now you're a national champion. How crazy does that feel?
Oh, it's absolutely insane. Like, I honestly can't believe it. I've never won a race in my life. This is the first thing, and it's amazing just to win for once.
So
get something.
Yeah, so your first race win was broadcast to the world, a national championship. Now, it was an extremely close finish with your teammate, Anna Price, just lunging at the line. Just tell us the experience of that finishing stretch, driving to the finish line.
So getting into it, I knew I had people behind me, and I could hear them. I could hear all the crowd cheering for them, but I definitely couldn't see her. And Anna's normally a faster sprinter than me, so I thought she was going to catch me, but I kept pushing, and eventually I made it to the line, and she apparently was right beside me, and that lunge, oh, I think I only got it with the lunge.
Yeah, it was so close at the finish. Now, do you have anything to say? Obviously, things came together perfectly for you, and it looked like Foothills Nordic had the wax today. Anything to say to your wax techs and your coaches and your family and friends watching on TV?
Yeah. Well, I want to thank all my coaches for waxing my skis. They did an amazing job today, and I'd like to thank all my friends and family for being here to support me. There was a massive crowd out there cheering, and it was a great atmosphere today.
Yeah, so our juvenile girls national champion. I think we're going to have to start some t-shirts, Race Like a Girl, because that was so exciting. So congratulations on an outstanding performance, Nicole.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm now going to turn things back. It's been a very exciting day here. Some exciting racing. We got more to come. I'm going to turn things back to Phoenix.
Thank you kindly, Steve. That is Nicole Gammy, and as you can tell by that smile on that young lady's face and all the hugs that have been given to that young lady, you know that she is absolutely thrilled to be in that position. She could be possibly a mentor for some young athletes as well as we saw Alexandra Racine. These two young ladies, remember their name, future Olympians? Well, that could be a possibility. Who knows? And why not be here on a world stage like this at the Canmore Nordic Center? And as Steve, as you return to our broadcast position, you were chatting with Nicole and Alexandra. These two ladies have been so focused on what they wanted. And they went through the training, the blood, the sweat, the tears, the hours, the They are truly overwhelmed by the experience today.
Oh my goodness, they were overwhelmed. I think both those athletes coming in today were looking for a good performance, but it didn't sound like any of those athletes were thinking they were going to be a national champion
Absolutely.
at the end of the day. And that's in the sprints, anything can happen. You get into the heats, maybe you can get into the semifinals.
Who knows?
You get into the semifinals, maybe you get in the finals. And
it starts off as a recreational cross-country skier, and you come out here, you enjoy the conditions, you enjoy the scenery, and you say to yourself, oh, this is fun. And then you hear of clubs that are forming, and then you hear of competitions that are happening, and then you might enter a competition, and all of a sudden you're Nicole Gammy or Alexander Racine, and you're standing here being interviewed because you're now the Canadian champion.
Yeah,
what a story!
It's a total awesome story. You see some great racing at the World Cup level, but I think what we saw today was some of the most pure, exciting racing that you could have. They're not racing for money. They're not racing for stardom. They're just trying to be their best. And on this day, their best was a national championship.
Wow.
And you could just interviewing them. They were ecstatic. They were in shock. They were so happy. I mean, look at someone like Nicole Gammy. She told me in the interview, until this day, she had never won a ski race. And she wins a national championship coming from the 30th position for the qualifiers. I mean, that's just an absolutely unbelievable, awesome story. And those are the stories that we're getting here at the Canmore Nordic Center for the national championships. And it's so fantastic that Shaw is broadcasting this to the world. I mean, I watch a lot of ski racing, and those girls racing so well, race like a girl. Race like a girl. That is the phrase of the day. Those girls put on a fantastic race.
Well, it's been fantastic for you to join us as well, too. And so with the Canmore Provincial Park here as our backdrop, Canada's future cross-country champions have been crowned. But anxiously awaiting their turn on this unforgiving course are the men. For my co-host, Steve Scholes, my name is Phoenix. We'll return with the 2017 Nordic Nationals short sprints next. This is Chasing Limits on Shaw TV, a glimpse into Western Canada's action sports and a look into the athletes and personalities that continue to chase their limits.
Oh my goodness.
YCOM Solutions, a proud supporter of the Chasing Limits series and Alberta amateur sports. Visit ycom.ca for details on their full list of communication products and services.
Shaw TV is home to the WHL regular season and the 2017 WHL playoffs. The journey will start with 22 teams and we'll have all the hits, the saves, and the goals until one team is crowned Ed Chanel Cup champions. For complete broadcast information, visit shawtv.ca or whl.ca.
I'm not special. Cancer happens to people all the time. I take 1 mile at a time, 26 miles a day. I want to set an example that'll never be forgotten. Sometimes, it feels endless. But the pain I feel is nothing. I've seen little kids in so much pain. Somewhere, the hurting must stop.
Terry Fox ran more than halfway across Canada to raise money for cancer research. Every year, millions of people around the world continue the marathon of hope in his name.
What you ever given me? Your feet, them bones that pumping hard. You never done nothing but hold me back, afraid I was gonna be better than you.
Everything that boy do, he do for you.
It's not easy for me to admit that I've been standing in the same place for 18 years.
Well, I've been standing with you. I got a life too. Don't you think I had dreams and hopes? What about my life? What about me?
Camille is at Wax Tech. For this group, it's the NTDC Thunder Bay, which means?
National Team Development Center, Thunder Bay.
Okay, so here's the skinny. You now live in Canmore.
I do.
What the heck?
My career has taken me here. I'm still working with the National Team Development Center in Thunder Bay. It's been 4 years now, and I prepare the skis. So moving here brought me to, work at the Canmore Nordic Center and kind of immerse myself a little more in the real world of Wax Tech. So.
Well, as a Wax Tech, we are sure getting your money's worth, especially if your team is doing well. As a Wax Tech, we were talking about the conditions here at Canmore. Everything from sunshine to rain to snow to wind. What goes through your mind when you see conditions like this, especially over the number of these days?
So I think the biggest thing is to keep calm, and you think a lot better when you're calm.
Sure.
So for us, it's been we raced yesterday, and it was +10 in the afternoon and sunshine. So I think we stick to basics and try and do what we can do well and control what we can control. And the weather we can't, so we try and adapt as we can and make skis, as best we can to allow the athletes to reach their true potential. So,
do you find that you are a counselor to a lot of these athletes as well too? Because some of them, they were talking about juveniles who are 14 to 15-year-olds who may have never experienced something like this. I guess it's just a sense of calmness. Don't worry, we know what we're doing. You'll be fine.
Absolutely. I think a big part of being a Wax Tech is we work with the athletes one-on-one a lot, and we definitely work to create a relationship because when you get to our level, they travel with anywhere between 10 and 20 pairs of skis. And so ultimately we need to know what the athlete likes and what the skis behave like on the day. And then wax them accordingly. So it's a constant two-way relationship, and I think that being able to stay calm and collected is a huge asset for us.
Cami, how do you come up with the ultimate wax mixture? I know we were talking to Jack yesterday, who's also a wax technician, but it's like it's a well-kept secret. The same for you? Or would you like to share some of your little hidden secrets?
We, as I work with the national program a little bit with the junior, national junior team. I was the head tech for World Juniors this year. And what we're trying to do is kind of elevate our knowledge and our ability in Canada. So we're actually sharing a lot of information with clubs and with, different teams. Because ultimately we want the best athletes to win, and we want the best athletes to go then and race overseas. So for me, it's been growing a base of knowledge over the last 8 years. And you rely a lot on that, especially when you get, sun, snow, etc. Right. So knowing where to go, how to change as the weather changes is very important. But the basics is you got to test. You got to ski. You got to know what works and what's behaving. So
you've been involved in this sport for quite some time, and I'm sure you're a participant yourself too. The future of this sport is looking fantastic. When we see athletes from all across Canada giving the efforts that we've seen in these races, that says a lot about the sport and even the coaching that goes into the sport.
Absolutely. I think, with superstars like Alex and a men's team that medaled for the first time ever in a relay.
Sure.
It bodes well for our depth. We're really working to kind of build up the depth in Canada. We've got a young women's program that's going really well, going in the right direction. And so when we come here to national championships, or we've got juveniles, age 14 and up, if we can, help motivate them in any way and increase the participation in the sport, ultimately that's my mandate as well, even as a tech, is to kind of grow the sport as we can and make everybody have a good experience. So
he's part of Team NTDC and very proud of what he does, and he does it very, very well. Kevin, thank you very much for your time. More from the Canmore Nordic Center coming up here on Shaw TV. Cross Country Canada, Martine Zilligan, hi.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, well, how am I? How am I? Here we are at the Canmore Nordic Center. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
Wow.
Thanks.
Okay, 7 days of cross-country skiing here at the Canmore Nordic Center. What has this facility been like for these athletes, and is it meeting up to your standards?
Oh, absolutely. This is the site of the 1988 Olympics, and so it's a world-class facility, and we're always very excited to have the entire Canadian community ski here, from young juveniles all the way up to our national ski team, so it's very exciting.
We were chatting with a number of coaches over the last couple of days, and what they're excited about are the athletes. As a communications manager, or as a person who's involved in marketing as well too, you're seeing some of the up-and-comers who maybe one day could be household names in the Olympics.
Absolutely. We have a lot of our athletes here that are going to be competing next year in Korea, but also the juniors coming up are going to be in Beijing 2022 for sure. So this is an exciting time. These are important races for them. They gain some points in our points list in Canada, and then they get an opportunity to race abroad as well, depending on where they rank. So they race really hard with all their heart, and super exciting to see everyone do so well.
And one thing that I'm finding too, that you know a lot of these athletes, so to see them succeed like they are, that must be just an absolute thrill. As your title says, you keep yourself very busy. Give us an example of some of the traveling that you've done over the last couple of weeks.
Well, I consider myself very lucky this year. Actually, I love traveling with the athletes. That's what keeps me going. It's very exciting. This year I was lucky. I went to World Championships in Lappi with our senior team, where we finished off with Alex Harvey winning the 50-kilometer classic world champion. It was very exciting to see and be there for them. And then just last weekend, I was at the Quebec World Cup finals, and that was, again, very exciting. 2 medals for Alex, but also, Alex is also... He's a great model for the team, but also we have a lot of juniors that were there, 30 athletes, so 20 of them were up-and-coming athletes, so it's just amazing experience, just great to be there. We're like a big, tight family, and it's just so great to see the hard work. Getting a medal is not just about the athlete being really, really fit. It's about having the skis ready, about the technicians doing an amazing job. Without them, we wouldn't have racing, and the organizing committees and everyone. It's just fantastic to be there. Yeah.
Well, it's fantastic to be here too, Martine. Thank you for being a part of this as well too. More from the Canmore Nordic Center here on Shaw TV.
Wycom Solutions, a proud supporter of the Chasing Limits series and Alberta amateur sports. Visit ycom.ca for details on their full list of communication products and services.
Shaw TV is home to the WHL regular season and the 2017 WHL playoffs. The journey will start with 22 teams and will have all the hits, the saves, and the goals until one team is crowned Edge Cup champions. For complete broadcast information, visit shawtv.ca or whl.ca.
Generations, this peaceful island has been home to our family. But beyond our reef, a great danger is coming. Legend tells of a hero who will journey to find the demigod Maui. And together, they will save us all.
Well, this site has seen its share of world-class competitions, from World Cups to the Olympics. Again, this winter playground is highlighted for what should be an exciting day of racing. We welcome you into the stadium at the Canmore Nordic Center for the 2017 Ski Nationals. Alongside Steve Scholes, my name is Phoenix, excited to show you the cross-country short sprints, classic technique for men. Steve, a course that has been beaten up over the last couple of days, but no doubt there's been a share of excitement we've seen over the last two.
Oh, this has been absolutely incredible racing that we're seeing. I mean, the racing we saw earlier today was absolutely fantastic. We still have our boys' races coming up. I am just loving this so much here at the Nordic Center.
We're going to see the juveniles, which are the 14 and 15-year-olds. We're also going to see the junior men, which are the 16 and 17-year-olds. There's a few, how do we say this? We've done the quarterfinals. There are some incredible talents that we're about to see this afternoon.
Absolutely, like some of the athletes, Xavier McKeever, who was our champion on Sunday. The son of a couple of Olympians is here. I think we just heard that Leo Granbois, our current world champion in the biathlon, I think he's going to make it into the semifinal heats. So we've got some fantastic talent, as you were mentioning, and a lot of clubs from across Canada represented in these junior boys and juvenile boys finals. So a real national championship here. You know, many of the provinces represented.
We're also realizing that the number of these athletes also have a long lineage line, if you will. Maybe a bit of an advantage for some of these athletes, but it's sure great to see them here performing today.
Absolutely. I just mentioned Xavier McKeever, his father Robin McKeever, and his mother Milan Theriault, both former Olympians for the national team. And you see that here in Canmore. You know, a lot of athletes come here to train, and then, you know, 15, 20 years later, their kids are battling for top positions. We had Laura McCabe, who was an American athlete who won one of our races earlier today. Her mother was a former U.S. national team skier, Laura McCabe. So yeah, they lots of great background amongst these athletes in these races today.
We are a couple of minutes away from the start of the juvenile men. It'll be two semifinals for the juvenile men, two semifinals for the junior men, and then we'll go back to the juvenile men for the finals, the A final or the B finals and the A finals. So there's a lot of racing to be had.
Absolutely, and it's going to be very exciting. We'll see if we can top the girls racing earlier today. But now here's our lineup for the juvenile boys. The first semifinal, we've got Tom Thunderbolt Steven. That's his new nickname. We gave him that nickname today. And he's here. He's definitely he was the winner of the classic distance race on Tuesday. We also have Mads Groholt, who's a Norwegian skier, I believe originally from Oslo, and Xavier McKeever, who we talked about earlier, who was the champion from Sunday, second in the classic distance race. And we've also got Tron May, who's been showing some great form from the Larch Hills Nordic Club.
So even though this is a Canadian championship, there's still some other athletes from outside the country who are participating as well.
Absolutely.
And for experience for the most part?
Well,
and points probably.
Well, I think with the Canadians doing so well, I think a lot of foreign athletes want to make it their way here to compare themselves against some of the top Canadians. So we've got, I think, some Americans and some Norwegians battling it out with the Canadians here.
What a great showing here at the Canmore Nordic Center as we take a look at the second semifinal for the juvenile boys. It's Turner, Cummings, Lavelle, Hall, Fabry, and Moreau. Great lineup, I'll tell you. Great lineup as we are just literally moments away from our first of two semifinals. Again, these are 14 and 15-year-old boys as the crowd is fantastic. We've had a lot of people here who've actually just are along the sidelines, and especially near the finish lines, and you'll see them as well too. But again, people enjoying this, and why not? The conditions are just ideal.
It's a corridor of noise down that finishing straight.
Boy, does that motivate you too,
Oh,
eh?
yeah.
The adrenaline pumping.
The athletes have been talking about it, and we're underway actually now with our semifinal.
All right, well, let's take a look at this. We have Tom Steven, who's taken the early lead, and let's describe the course here as we see these athletes coming around the top of their first climb.
Yeah, so you can start to see them coming to your screen. This is the top of a very steep climb. They actually have a 180-degree turn before that, but Thunderbolt Steven starting
living
things
up
off
to his name
with a Thunderbolt. Tom, so it looks like his strategy here is just go from the gun. go from the gun, make sure I get into the final. Don't play around with strategy. Don't wait around for the finish. And he's motivated. His teammate from Foothills Nordic, Nicole Gammy, taking a national championship. Beautiful striding technique. That takes a really strong core to have that kind of technique.
Kidding.
But
Now, hey, keep in mind, sorry, Steve, this is the semifinal. The top two in this final, or semifinal, will advance to the final round. What could be in contention are the lucky losers spots. So also keep in mind the third and fourth spots. There is a lot of there's a lot at stake here.
Yeah, absolutely. So the lucky loser positions, they're based on time. The automatic qualifiers are, the first two across the line, but the next two fastest times from both semifinal heats moves to the final. So this is the 180-degree turn now before the finish. They've got a bit of a descent, and then they have about maybe about 150, 200-meter double pole finish. That's Xavier McKeever from Foothills Nordic in second.
Right behind Tom Stephen, and who's to say whether or not he may have gassed himself. He's looking behind saying, okay, how much energy do I have to expel because I need to be in the top two? Will he have to push, and did he expel too much energy at the start of this race?
Yeah, so this is two Foothill Nordic athletes, but we've got, that looks like, I think, Eric Scheitler. I think in third from Big Thunder Nordic, if I believe that's Eric. Sorry. No, that is Eric Scheitler,
yep.
I believe. 220.
Yep.
So we've got Tom Stephen in the lead, Xavier McKeever, but now Xavier McKeever taking it. Oh, sorry, that's Eric Scheitler. That's moved into second
spot.
So Eric Scheitler making a drive here from Big Thunder Nordic out of Thunder Bay. Oh my, what a finish. But they got to drive to the line here.
There's Tom Stephen, though. He is your number one spot, and that's what he wanted. He's going to take himself into the final. Boy, what a finish for these guys.
A clean strategy there for Tom Stephen. Go from the gun, get in the final. But Eric Scheitler from Big Thunder Nordic in Thunder Bay. I'm sure there's lots of folks watching from Thunder Bay. And thunderous performance
Hugs
from
around
Eric
as well,
Scheitler
too.
to get in the second automatic spot. But Xavier McKeever certainly in the running for one of those lucky loser positions. But look at the double pulling. Eric Scheitler is a double pull machine. And he used that to get into that second automatic qualifier position. I love that replay. It looks fantastic.
Tom Stephen with his hair, I'm sure that helped him as well, too.
Yes.
Okay, that's the one semifinal down for the Juvenile boys. Again, 14 and 15-year-olds. Here is the lineup for the second semifinal. We've got Turner, Cummings, Level, Hall, Fabry, and Moreau.
This is another real strong field. Walker Hall is actually an American athlete. Cole Turner races with Caledonia Nordic out of Prince George, British Columbia. Olivier Levaille has had a very, very strong week this week. And, you know what? This is another really strong semifinal. I don't really want to call this one who can make it into the final.
We're going to have a shot for you as these gentlemen are just lined up, ready to go. They are seconds away. Again, they have to keep on the main stretch for a certain point. As you mentioned, Steve, there's a blue line. Once they cross that blue line, anything can happen, and it usually does.
Yeah, so they got that tight corner. They got about 50 meters. They got to stay in their lane, and they're underway here. All six athletes. And this is a critical corner. You're seeing a lot of athletes. They want to get in that first and second position, and they want to stay out of trouble. Let's see how they get through here. So far, everyone out of trouble.
Levaille in the early lead.
Olivier Levaille from the Orford Club, which is near Sherbrooke, Quebec.
But look at that. Sorry to interrupt there, but how about that? Competitor number 202, Felix Oliver Moreau, just trying his best, and he is coming up nice and close. He realizes the strategy of his competitor, and he knows he's got to stay nice and tight.
Yeah, it looks like Levaille is going to kind of go for the same thing Tom Stephen went for, just go right from the gun. Olivier was one of the top finishers. I think he took 2 or 3 gold medals at the Eastern Canadian Championships back in February in the Ottawa area, so he's a very accomplished skier. And so, so it looks like, yes, that's 206, Olivier Levaille, yes. And then we've got 202, which is Felix Olivier Moreau.
Again, a very, very tight race. All 6 men are still nice and close, tucked in nice and close. Not one of these wants to relinquish their position. It's a strategy. Sometimes your strategy has to be thrown out the window because it depends what the other guys in front of you or behind you are going to do.
Yeah, so a lot of these athletes, they will come in with the strategy, different areas of the course they got to watch or where they're going to attack. But, yeah, you got to be able to respond on the spot. It's not all within your control. And here we've got, looks like Levaille still leading. and I believe that's Felix Olivier Moreau in second.
There's a final push coming up, and all these gentlemen, how spent are they? Do they have another gear? This is the punishment stage, the pain stage, the last 100 meters, pushing as hard as they can. It is Levier who is still holding the current lead right behind him. Competitor number 202, Felix Olivier Moreau, who's right behind him. Top two advance to the finals. But what a push for second and third. Look at this.
Oh my goodness, it's a three-way battle for that second automatic qualifier spot. But that's a Foothills Nordic skier on the right-hand side making a dash, but it's not over yet. Oh my goodness, they're driving to the line on the right-hand side. That's 203. Oh my, and at the line, 209. That was JP Cummings with a massive finish to get into that automatic qualifier position.
Here's that finish again. We talked that this is not a flat. This is a bit of a false flat for the final push, and what a push this was for these three athletes. Look at them, and they are contending side by side. The push is the rhythm. Keep it going. See if you've got it left in you, and what a push to the end.
And that was Cole Turner on the outside.
Wow.
From Caledonia Nordic, trying to get in there, but I think he's a
Leveille
third.
with the win.
Look, JP Cummings showing some emotion, trying to get that qualifier spot.
Well, that's just the juveniles, and I say just the juveniles because we've got the juniors on board, and here they are. This is the first of two semifinals for the junior boys, I guess you could call them. Well, boys, sure, they're young men, 16 and 17-year-old, and here's how the lineup looks.
So we got Talon Noble, who's having a great series of races here this week, so I think he's probably going to be your favorite. Michael Murdoch out of Whistler Nordic. He had a great distance race on Tuesday in the classic technique. And looking through that category, I think Pierre-Eric Sartu is another athlete to watch for. But what we've seen is any of these athletes getting into the semifinal, I mean, it's a real deep field in this category, so any of those athletes, I think, has a chance here to get into the final.
Beautiful scenery here from Canmore Nordic Center, and where else would you want to be than right here, right now? It is the 2017 Ski Nationals, the first of two semifinals for the junior boys, 1 kilometer sprint, and they are lined up and they are set, and here they come.
So again, we've got 6 athletes here, 2 automatically qualify. Talon Noble, our top qualifier, gets that early lead. He gets that, what they call in cycling, the whole shot, getting through that crowd of folks. And now he's into that steep little climb, looking really relaxed, not wasting any energy on that climb. Talon Noble
with the early lead on the first of 2 hills that they've got to contend with on this 1 kilometer course.
Now Talon Noble, he took a victory at the Western Canadian Championships in Whistler recently. Skis for the Strathcona Nordic Club out of Vancouver Island, up on Mount Washington. You know, not an athlete of huge stature, but great technique, really relaxed technique, and probably for this age group, one of the best classic skiers in the nation. So there's Talon Noble, 3:01.
Not afraid to take the lead and not afraid to hold on to that lead. Let's see if he can maintain it as each of these athletes gets a little encouragement and coaching from their coaches along the way.
And we've got Pierre-Eric Sartu in second place right now as they start to open up just a little bit of a gap on the rest of the field. They get not really much of a rest here. They have to double pull a little bit, but then they've got a sharp 180-degree turn, and they have a solid descent, so they get just a little bit of rest after this turn, but then it's about 200 meters of double pull pain to the finish.
And here's that turn that you were talking about, 180, and then, there's a bit of a spill. I don't know if it was just a couple of athletes that got tangled up with each other, but still, it's Talon Noble in the lead, undaunted by what's happening behind him as he takes a quick glance, realizing, I got to push it near the end.
Absolutely. So there's 3 athletes. Again, it's top 2 automatically qualify, so it's going to be an all-out sprint to the finish. Now, I'm trying to see that athlete in second. That's definitely Talon Noble in the lead. And then we've got, let's see the number there.
We'll get it for you in just a second here.
Yeah, 3:05. So that's Pierre-Eric Sartu in second. Right
and
now.
3:04, Michael Murdoch right behind him as well, too. It's 1, 2, 3 as it currently stands. Is there enough? If there's enough gas in the tank for Talon Noble, and it looks like, yes, it probably will, the top 2 will advance. 2 lucky loser spots up for grabs. Who will get those? 301, 305, Talon Noble, and number 305,
Pierre Sartu.
Pierre to start two, as kind of, fix the hair.
So great job by Talon. Yeah, again, not a, a real muscular, a big stature athlete, but perfect technique. Absolutely perfect technique. Looking really relaxed, no wasted energy whatsoever in that double pulling motion. And this is the category we had some really funky weather in the qualifier, and we had a few athletes, guys like the Cannibal Sam Henry not making it into the heats, or the McGovern or Connor McGovern not making it in. But Talon Noble, certainly one of the top athletes here, and he's done quite well now to get into the final. Now here's our next semifinal, and one athlete I need to point out is Leo Grandbois. Leo Grandbois, he is a world champion biathlete in this age category. Earlier this year, he won the World Championships in his age group for Canada in the World Championships biathlon in Slovakia. So his nickname is Le Tigre, the Tiger.
The Tiger.
So we've got a tiger on the course. Recently at the World Cup in Quebec, they actually had a dog run on the course. But here in Canmore, we have a tiger on the course.
Competitor number 303 is Leo Grandbois that you were talking about. We'll see him and the rest of his competitors. Again, the top two will advance to the finals. The top two advance. Early movement here right off the start.
Yeah, so it looks like that's a Big Thunder athlete from Thunder Bay getting that early lead position. That's Marty Muska with the early lead. Definitely some Finnish blood there. And then we've got 309, Pierre Grawl-Johnson, one of the Knacker Talk athletes. And then right behind him is Leo
Here's the lion.
Now, that's the tiger. The tiger. But Leo Grandbois, now he's a biathlete, which is the skate technique. So he's been working on his classic technique, and he actually got a medal in the classic distance race. But he's in a little bit tough here with these very strong classic skiers. But if he can get into the final, that'd be a great accomplishment for a skier that really trains mostly in the skate technique. But Marty Zika is your early leader here in the sprint out of the Thunder Bay Big Thunder Nordic team. Then we've got
Johnson right behind him.
Yeah, and then Leo Grandbois, Le Tigre as your top three. Now the top two again advance to the final. But you can see Leo Grandbois, he's not quite as smooth on the classic technique as the other athletes, but he's got a huge engine and he's got a huge heart. Really, really nice, humble kid. He's a world champion using the skate technique in biathlon, but he's battling it out in the classic technique with a lot of heart.
And to give you an idea, this is really a full-out sprint. This is only a 1 kilometer course completed in about 2.5 minutes for these athletes, and they are sailing down this course. There is no doubt in my mind anyway that this the top two has not been determined in this heat. As you can tell, now it's a 3-man race for the top 2 spots.
And so it's Marty Muzica now getting passed by Pierre Grawl-Johnson, and on the right of your screen will be Le Tigre. That's Leo Grandbois. He's trying to get
push for second and third.
Yeah, this is a battle. So it looks like Pierre Grawl-Johnson is going to get that automatic spot, but Leo Grandbois head-to-head with Marty Muzica driving to the line. It's going to be an absolute lunge at the line trying to get into the final. Leo Grandbois looking
Who's got it in him? And you're right, he got it.
Leo Grandbois, Le Tigre is in the final. Oh, my goodness.
Take a look at this finish again. You can see there's a slight hill as we just make it into the final push, the final 100 meters for these athletes, doing an amazing job.
Yeah, look at the technique there. Pierre Grawl-Johnson, when he turned on the jets, he opened a huge gap on those athletes. So we want to make note of that. Look, he's already relaxing with quite a ways to the finish. So we want to make note of that in the finish. If he's anywhere in the hunt on that finishing stretch, I think Pierre Grawl-Johnson's got a chance here at a great finish here in the final.
And a couple of glances over the left and the right shoulder, because he knows that the top two will advance to the finals. And no doubt, this is going to be one heck of a final. There is not much time to rest. The separation from when? About a 15-minute rest?
Yeah, I think between
the semis and the finals?
Yeah, so that semi that just went through, they're going to be racing in the final in 15, maybe about
20 minutes,
20 minutes or so.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so that's a big part of sprinting, is being able to recover right after your race. So they'll usually walk around a little bit, try and keep their legs moving so they're ready to go for the next race.
All right, speaking of the next race, here we go. This is the B final for the Juvenile boys. 6 of them have made this list, and here they are, including Mads Grohold, Moreau, Rie, Fabry, Hall, and May.
Yeah, so Mads Grohold, he is a Norwegian, so he can't. He can still be ranked according to the final standings, but he'll be battling for 7th through 12th here in this B final. Walker Hall, an American, is also in this race. But yeah, I think, again, this is important because even though it's places 7th through 12th, that can affect those athletes' individual standing for the overall awards at the end of the week and their club standings as well. So there's overall club awards that these athletes need to get points towards. So I think we're just under 2 minutes now to the start of our B final here for the Juvenile boys.
And as we're watching these races, keep in mind too that these athletes have trained for quite some time, but sometimes luck plays a factor. We've seen it happen before. Yesterday in one of the competitions, Steve, we saw one athlete who actually broke his ski.
Yeah, that's right. And sprinting, there's things you can control. You can control your fitness, your strength training, your technique. You can work on those. But in a sprint, it's a very short race. Any sort of mistake, you just don't have the time, the distance to make that up. And it's sometimes hard for these young athletes to fully digest that. We've had some broken equipment, and it's just, by random chance. And you have to separate, sports psychologists work a lot on this, separating the process from the outcome. You've got to work on what you control and try and improve that, measure that, but there's always going to be some chance factors that you just have to accept and not worry about.
Right.
And just, that's just part of racing, and it's a bigger part of sprint racing in cross-country skiing.
We know there's going to be distractions. Weather could be a distraction. People yelling on the side of the course could be a distraction. You've got to get into that mindset, and that's what part of the coaching has done here. It said, look, get in the mindset. You've got to focus on what your game is. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Focus on what you are about to do. Well said, Steve.
Exactly. And I think we're about, speaking of focusing on what we're about to do, we've got about 10 or so seconds to the start of our B final. And I should mention Cole Turner and Xavier McKeever were our lucky losers for our A final. So that'll be coming up in about 4 minutes' time after our B final.
Here we go. This is the B final, and this is a great start. Again, everyone has a strategy. Everyone realizes what and who they're up against. Here's that first turn we talked about. It's a tight one, but you got to maintain your composure. You got to maintain your technique. As you can see, the conditions are changing. Look at the snow as they go by our spot.
So we've got 2:07. That's Samuel Rie, and he's just being passed by Mads Grohold. He is a Norwegian, and he's actually wearing a Norwegian national team suit.
Followed also by number 202, Felix Olivier Moreau.
Now, Mads Grohold, he's actually right now living in Vancouver, and he skis with the Whistler Nordic club out of British Columbia, but he doesn't actually qualify for a national championship medals, but this is the battle for 7th through 12th in the national championship. So that is Mads Grohold there right now.
16 and 17-year-olds is what you're watching, the B final. It's the B final. We're going to show you the A final in just a few moments, but as you mentioned, Grohold still in the lead.
And that's Samuel Rie there, just trying to hang with him. And this is actually the Juvenile boys final. So this is ages 14 and 15.
Pardon me.
Yeah, so we've got 202. Sorry, that's Felix Olivier Moreau that's moved into second, and Samuel Rie in third. Then we've got 212. That is Eric Fabry right behind him. And then it looks like Walker Hall just at the back there. He's one of our American athletes out of Washington State in the Metho Valley Nordic Ski Club. And it's great, a lot of American athletes in the, Washington State, Idaho, Montana will come up to Canmore to race. And right now we've got a Norwegian athlete living in Vancouver that's leading this group. And then right behind him, it's Felix Olivier Moreau and Samuel Rie.
This is the stretch that we talked about. This is the moment of opportunity or the moment of failure. It's a tight race, though. 3 gentlemen in contention for the B final. Who will take it home? Here we go, the final 100 meters, being encouraged by the gauntlet of people watching there. Boy, the adrenaline push has got to be something.
Oh, and here comes Samuel Rie. Look at that
tough
pulling.
He's not giving up.
He's
Rie
going
on the outside. Doing his best, pushing in stride, keeping the rhythm, faster than his opponent, trying to make it to the end. Oh, it looks like he might do it.
Yeah, Samuel Reed dethroning the Norwegian there for
man.
7th place. Samuel Reed, great performance there on that double pole final. Now he's out of Vermilion, Alberta, a small club in northern Alberta, and I'm going to call him the pride of Vermilion, Alberta, after that double pole finish, overtaking the Norwegian Mads Groholt. Look at that. Look at the power that is coming down on those poles.
Full extension all the way right through. Great shot from our crew.
Oh, that's super slow-mo. I love it. Vermilion, Alberta, watching online. Samuel Reed making his club very proud there, defeating the Norwegian in that B final.
Well, there's just an example of what we are up against, and get ready for this. It's now the A final of the Juvenile boys, and what a list of 6 we have here.
Oh, this is a superstar list. We've got Tom Thunderbolt Stephen. We've got Olivier Levaille, 3 gold medals from the Eastern Canadian Championships about a month ago. We've got Eric Scheitler, a real strong athlete, JP Cummings as well. Cole Turner just making it as a lucky loser, but I think he's got a chance to win this out of Caledonia, Nordic, and Prince George. And Xavier McKeever, who's already got 1 gold and silver this week. He's looking for a gold here. Any of these athletes, I think, is in the running for the gold.
All right, we go to the start gate, and here we go with the Canadian Cross Country Ski Nationals. This is the Juvenile A final. They're on course. Here we go.
And we're underway. So this is the final. This is for national championships. They're all Canadians. It's an all-Canadian final, and it looks like that is Olivier Levaille in the lead. Then we've got Thunderbolt Stephen. Then we've got Eric Scheitler, 209. That's JP Cummings with Foothills Nordic in 4th right now.
And keep in mind, they've only had about a 15-minute rest here, so any lactic acid that they had earlier hopefully is out of their system, because right now is when it really matters.
Yeah, Olivier Levaille, a real strong athlete, showing it off here. Now, he hasn't got a gold medal yet, but he did get a bronze medal earlier in this week. So Olivier Levaille looking to try and add a gold to that. And that is him right there. That is 206. And he is with the Orford Club. I talked to his coach, Gilles, before the start of the championships, and said Olivier was in very, very good form. But Thunderbolt Stephen right on his tail. And then we've got Eric Scheitler.
If there's anything that's going to help these athletes, we just noticed a change in the wind. The wind will be at their back for that final 100-meter stretch. This is exciting because it's the A final for the Juvenile boys. This is maybe your future Olympians. Household names down the road, who knows, as we continue to watch this race. A 180-degree turn right here, the final stretch home. And the lead has not been given up.
Now, just at the back is Xavier McKeever, who's won a gold medal already this week. He's actually only 13 years of age, so he's battling with some older athletes. But right now it's Olivier Levaille. Looks like he's got some pretty good skis there. And then we've got Tom Stephen, and then Eric Scheitler from the Big Thunder Nordic Club out of Thunder Bay. So we've got Orford versus Foothills versus Big Thunder into the final straightaway.
Levaille, Stephen, Levaille, Stephen, where is he going to be? What will be the final spot? Levaille, he is pushing it. He is creating an incredible separation, literally meters away from the finish line. What a moment for this young man. Competitor number 206, Olivier. Oh, Olivier almost at the end. Can he hold on? Can he hold on to that final push? The answer is yes.
He's got a national champion.
Wow.
Levaille, Tom Stephen, silver medal. And then Big Thunder Nordic's Eric Scheitler on the podium with the bronze medal. But Olivier,
look at that expression.
Gold medal, national champion from Orford. That's just near Sherbrooke, Quebec. And he was looking for a gold medal here, and he's done it.
Steve, he had the lead going into the final 50 meters of this run, and he knew what exactly he had to do. He didn't even look behind him. He said, you know what? I'm just going to give it whatever I've got. I expel as much energy as I can. I don't care who's behind me, and that is the reward for his efforts.
He wasn't taking any chances there, and he's got a national championship gold medal to add to his gold medals from the Eastern Canadian Championships. Orford, Quebec is going to be very, very proud of that young man.
Well, we're not done yet because now we have the junior boys. This is, they're a little older, 16 and 17-year-olds. We have two finals. One is the B final and one is the A final. Looking at the B final, Murdoch, Perot, Millie, Daly, Groschut, and Mikis.
Yeah, so this heat, Michael Murdoch was our fourth best qualifier. He's had some great results this week, so I think I'm going to put him as one of the favorites. But Ben Millie has thrown some really strong finishes in these heats, not enough to get into the A final, but he's another athlete, I think, to really watch in this final.
So, Steve, you're saying competitor number 304, Michael Murdoch, is one to watch.
I believe so, yeah. Now, again, this is the B final, and we're underway. This is the battle for 7th through 12th place here as they head into that very tight 180-degree turn before the steep climb.
The reality is a lot of these athletes, even though they may not make the A final, they want to know where they stack up against the best of the best. And here's an opportunity as competitor number 308, Oliver Grocott, is now in the early lead.
Yeah, and it looks like Michael Murdoch in second, and then we've got Finbar Perot from the Nakartok team out of Ottawa in third right now. And yeah, so this, again, the 7th through 12th really matters for these aggregate points, both for the individual and the club for the overall awards at the end of these nationals. And there's only one more race after this. The mass start races on Saturday.
On Saturday, right. Grocott with the early lead and trying to hold on to that early lead, but the other competitors realize, especially that one, number 304, Michael Murdoch, who you mentioned earlier, on the outside, now taking the early lead as they continue through this, halfway through the course, this 1 kilometer course here at the Canmore Nordic Center. What a tight race.
Yeah, now this is where it can get a little more tactical. They're not as worried about getting those automatic qualifier spots or lucky loser spots. They're just trying to be the first across the finish line, so you can actually see the front 3 leaders actually slow down a little bit, allowing a couple of skiers to catch up to them. So it looks like as they head into that 180-degree turn for the final downhill and the final double pole push, it's going to be a tactical race here coming into this corner. But this corner really critical, 180 degrees.
Oh, a little congestion over there. Oh, it looks like somebody almost stepped on someone's ski, but no. It's Murdoch continues to keep and hold on to that lead. You mentioned the technical turn. That was technical. You have to be real careful around there.
Yeah, now what he did is he kind of slowed down a little bit in the corner, but as soon as he came out of the corner, he really punched it in the downhill. And that is how you do it in a tactical race, in a sprint, because you're first through, and that allows you to control the pace out of the corner. And he's pulling in that final 100 meters.
Michael Murdoch in the lead and continues to increase his lead. It is the B final. He wants this bad. He knows what it takes. What an incredible push by that young man, Michael Murdoch, as he comes across the finish line, the winner of the B finals, competitor number 304. You called it, Steve.
Yeah, and Finbar Perot in second there, and that'll give him 8th place overall. But there's Michael Murdoch, the Whistler Nordic athlete. His dad is actually a coach, I think the head coach with Whistler Nordic. And looks like he had some great skis today.
Proud daddy moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, just showing some really good form there. Getting the chest forward, getting the power on the poles. Really good follow through, launching the hips up. You see the heels come off the ground. That's what you want double pole technique to look like. Excellent job by Michael Murdoch of Whistler Nordic.
And no need to look behind him. He knew what he had to do. There's a great shot of that young man. And boy, Dad's very proud. Mom and Dad very, very proud right now, saying, oh, that's my boy.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's my boy. But guess what? We've got a lot more to show you. We have one more final. This will be the A final. Who will be the Canadian champion for the junior men, 16 and 17-year-old? One of these men right here will take the top spot.
So Talent Noble, he was our best qualifier. He's out of Strathcona Nordic. Definitely showing some great form in these races. Pierre Grawl Johnson, now he is the guy that had the great double pole at the end of his heat. Leo Grandbois, world champion in biathlon. Le Tigre, the Tiger, he's definitely in the running. But, you know, Antoine Lafort, real long history of great performances. Marty Muzica out of Big Thunder, Pierre Sartu. You know what? This is anyone's race.
It's anyone's race.
I'll put
no
us
favorites. Talent?
Well, Talent, I think, is a slight favorite here.
Talent is competitor number 301 as we draw your attention to this race. And this, again, The first is a flat stretch, but a hard right-hand turn, and they are pushing hard. This is probably one of the fastest intervals that we've seen so far. Why not? It's the A finals up for grabs. Competitor number 301, that is Talon Noble with the early lead.
Talon Noble leading, Leo Grandbois, Le Tigre in second, but he's really forcing it. And then we've got a couple athletes right in there as well. One of those athletes is Pierre Grull Johnson. So look at that, they're still close together. That's Talon Noble in the lead. Just moving to the other track, that is Le Tigre, Leo Grandbois.
4 tracks on this course, plenty of room to get your separation. 3 men side by side by side. 316 in the early lead now, taking the early lead. That's
Antoine Laforte.
Yeah,
Antoine Laforte making a charge on the inside there. He's a very, very accomplished athlete. He is looking for a national championship here. He had some fantastic results last year, and it looks like he's coming into form here for the national championships.
all of them eligible to win this.
All Canadians. Anyone, the first athlete across the line will be the Canadian national champion.
We're going to see in a moment who has the lead now, because it seems to be changing one after another. And again, look at this. On the outside, there's a push. We'll find out the lead in just a few moments. That looks like...
That's Leo Grandbois,
yeah, he's
the Tiger.
Look at that. He knows when to swoop, and he's done it. But again, it's not finished. They are side by side by side. 5 athletes in contention for the top spot.
Now, Leo Grandbois, again, he's a biathlete. He mainly trains in skate technique, but he's been working hard with his coach Hill on the classic technique. He's drawing to the finish, but we've got 309. Pierre Grull Johnson, who showed some phenomenal double pulling earlier, and now that double pulling is emerging in the finishing straight. Pierre Grull Johnson, double pulling here to a national championship.
He wants it. He wants it bad. But he's on the outside. What a push to the finish. He can see the finish line in his sights. Pierre Grull Johnson, he does it. Waves his hands in victory. He's loving this moment. And what a moment for that gentleman.
Oh,
wow.
My goodness. He showed it earlier. He's showing us how to double pull. Pierre
That's
Grull
how you
Johnson.
do it. That's how you do it.
The Knacker Talk team is going absolutely wild here at the Nordic Center. Look at that. Leo Grandbois, I think, held on for a podium position. But look at that. We saw it earlier in the semifinal, and he delivered here in the final. He was in the running, and he loved that finishing straight with that double pulling. And just seeing the replay here, it looks like Leo Grandbois in second. And I think it was...
Talon Noble possibly in third.
Oh, but it could have been 05. That could have been Pierre Sartu. So
these results are unofficial, but that, ladies and gentlemen, is your winner, the A final.
Talon Noble just announced as the bronze medalist,
Fantastic.
So he just got
He
in
just
with the
squeaked
lunch.
in. What a great effort by these wonderful athletes, and what a moment for that gentleman right there. He needs some hugs. He's got to do some interviews, but boy, what a moment for Pierre Grull Johnson.
Yeah, and he's
fantastic.
Again, he showed his double pull form earlier. We were watching for it here, and man, did he! As soon as he turns on the jets, he's got a lot of power there. Oh my goodness, Pierre Grull Johnson, a Knacker Talk athlete. You know, that Ottawa region produces some great skiers. And one of those great skiers is Pierre Grull Johnson.
The pride of Ottawa, absolutely an amazing moment, and we'll go send you over there, Steve, so you can go chat with him. Absolutely a great, great performance by these athletes today. So much has gone into what needs to be done, but wow, I'll tell you, when you think about Olivier Lavelle, who was the earlier winner, and you think about the gentleman you just saw a few moments ago, that is Pierre Grull Johnson. What a moment for both of those athletes. So we're going to send Steve out there so that he can go meet up with him. And as we take another final look here, it's the 2017 Canadian Cross Country Nationals. And this has been a moment for Canada and the sport of cross country skiing. So many people are gathering around these athletes, congratulating them, and why not? When you think about all of the effort that has been put forward, all of the training, the blood, the sweat, the tears, the everything, and to be here now at the pinnacle of greatness, especially for these athletes at this moment in their life. And a lot of them sitting back and asking themselves the question whether or not they're going to be actually going forward with this sport maybe taking it to the next level for the Olympics. We don't know exactly what they'll do, but at least you've had a chance, an opportunity to see them chase their limits, to be the best that they can be here today. A beautiful venue here, the Canmore Nordic Center. We cannot say enough about the volunteers and all of the wonderful personnel who put this together to make this an incredible spectacle. And why not show off the sport of cross-country skiing? Yes, it's a recreational leisure sport, but it's also a sport that we found can be very entertaining on a higher level, on a national, on an international level as well too. In a few moments, we will be chatting with the winner of the men's A final for the junior men's category. And if we're ready, we're going to throw it over to Steve to talk to our winner. Go ahead, Steve.
Okay, thank you, Phoenix. I've got our new national champion here, Pierre Grohl-Johnson, for our junior boys. Pierre, what a finish. How just, you got to describe that finish for us. You know, you were in the hunt, and then it was just a rocket launch as soon as you fit that final straight.
Yeah, my coach and I were talking before the race, like what the game plan was, and he just said, like, hey, just stick in the draft. Like, the slingshots worked every single time, like in my semi. So I just stuck behind Antoine Lefort, and my skis were a little bit faster than his, so I just switched lanes. I put my head down and I just went for it.
Now we saw in the semifinal, you had some wicked double pole technique. You know, just that final 100 meters, it was just like, bam, you were gone. Is that something you work on? Is that something you view as a strength? Because it showed it in the semifinals and the finals today.
Yeah, this year I worked with a lot of my classic skiing. I think it's paid off a lot. Yeah, double poling has definitely been like a strength of mine this season. At Naktok we do a bunch of stadium sprints, just pure double pole, so that helps a lot.
Yeah, so it really, all that work that you've done has really paid off. Now, you talked about the Naktok Club. Great contingent here from the Naktok Club in the Ottawa region. Do you have anything to say to your family and friends back home and, you know, the club Naktok? I'm sure watching online, we had a live stream broadcast. Anything you have to say to them?
Just thank you very much. And all my family's here, my grandparents from Calgary. It's just really great to have such a big team. And the depth of our team is amazing, and it really helps everybody progress.
Well, congratulations, Pierre Grohl-Johnson, national champion.
Thank you.
Very well done.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, I'll turn things back now to Phoenix.
Couple of handshakes, couple of smiles, and a brilliant fist pump. That gentleman is absolutely thrilled for the moment, and what a moment to spotlight that great talent. You think about all the time that is spent, and we mentioned it earlier, Steve and I were talking about how these athletes, at a young age, they were introduced to this sport. They were introduced to early competition and the beauty of the environments of being able to just enjoy the moment, and then taking it to a level where they are now is quite a moment. And to see that for that young man, Pierre Grohl-Johnson, the winner of the men's A final, is quite impressive. Well, we also have the winner of the juveniles, 14 and 15-year-old Steve is with him now.
Okay, thank you, Phoenix. I'm here with Orford, Quebec's Olivier Levaillé. Now, Olivier, maybe just walk us through that final. You know, obviously getting a national championship, your first national championship here this week.
Yeah.
Just talk about how the final unfolded for you.
It was an awesome race. I felt very good, and I just go first all the way.
Yeah, it looked like your strategy was just go from the gun and push the pace. Is that right?
Yeah, just that the finish and keep it. Yeah.
Yeah, so that sounds fantastic. Now, you did get a bronze medal earlier this week, but how does it feel to be called a national champion?
It feels very good. I felt very nice today. I will wait for that all day long, all year long.
Now, you ski with the Orford Quebec team near Sherbrooke, and I talked to your coach Gilles before the start of the championships, and he said, you know, you're obviously going really, really good form. So do you have anything to say to your coach Gilles or your teammates or the people watching online back home in Quebec?
Yeah, I really want to thank my coach because it's very big part of him if I win today. It's a very good coach.
Yeah, and do you have anything to say in French to your fans watching live online?
Merci à toute ma famille et mes amis de m'appuyer tous les jours, à mon coach et aussi à Jordan Russell de me pousser en musculation.
Excellent. Thank you very much, and congratulations, Olivier.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll turn things now back to Phoenix.
An amazing spectacle here at the Canmore Nordic Center, provided by incredible athletes over the last couple of days. Keep in mind, this competition is over a 7-day period, a form of meetings, training sessions, and of course, a number of competitions as well, too. And as we've seen over the last couple of days, and hopefully you've enjoyed it here at on our broadcast here at Shaw TV, part of the Chasing Limits series, of how spectacular these athletes are. And they really do want these big-time competitions badly. And Steve, as we look at, as you've talked with a couple of these athletes, as have I, and they're from all across Canada, and it doesn't matter if they're in Canmore, if they're in Quebec, if they're in BC, they want it. They want it badly, and they're willing to put in the time and the effort to be here today.
Yeah, you know, these athletes, they're training year-round. They're training really, really hard. They're probably training upwards of, 500 hours, over the course of the year. And, and you can see in the sprints, what we saw today is a lot of things can happen. And, you don't always know. You can't really predict so well in the sprints who is going to be the best. And, each race is going to be different. And we saw, Pierre Grawl-Johnson, great double pulling at the finish with a strong finish, taking the national championship. And Olivier Levaillé, I think he's not as dominant always in the sprints, but he came through today getting his first national championship for this week. So, again, great racing. I mean, the girls was absolutely fantastic. The boys,
Agreed.
Very exciting.
And what's next for these athletes?
So what's left? So we've completed the sprint races over the last 2 days. And, again, a massive thank you to Shaw for live streaming this to the world. And so we've got one more race now for the national championships, the mass start races on Saturday, and that will wrap things up for this week. But what a fantastic week here at the Canmore Nordic Center. We started last Saturday with the relay cross. It's now Thursday, but we've got one more day of racing. Also, great job by the Canmore Nordic Center and the Canmore Nordic Ski Club, I should say, and the Nordic Center for putting on a great championship race here. The athletes love coming to Canmore. The history, the Olympic Games in 1988.
Absolutely.
And also the World Cup events that come here, and perhaps even in 2026, another Olympics.
Wouldn't that be something?
This would be a perfect venue to show off Alberta to the world.
So for many, it's back to the drawing board, but for a small few, it is euphoria, knowing that their training has finally paid off. We want to thank you for spending the day with us and allowing us to show you this great competition. For my co-host, Steve Scholes, my name is Phoenix. Thank you very much for joining us from the Canmore Nordic Center. This is Chasing Limits on Shaw TV, a glimpse into Western Canada's action sports and a look into the athletes and the personalities that continue to chase their limits.